Chesnaught gets the Vine Whip farm down, back out comes Typhlosion. We're going to wait the turn, trying to get the Incinerate to register before inevitably debuffing our own defense superpower, force the final Protect Shield, and we send out our own Shadow Typhlosion with a 2 to no shield advantage. Typhlosion going to oblige, putting up the first Protect Shield. The opponent then sends out Primate, and this is only going to end one way. Primate going to be straight in and straight out. Welcome back to the channel. We're in the final 2 weeks of the season. We currently have all 3 leagues available. And if you look at my on-screen ELO, I'll be honest, it has never been so low at this point, ever. You might ask yourself, what am I doing in the 2100 ELO range? Well, I'm going to tell you it's because I'm washed up. But I think a more appropriate answer to that question is we're going to have to give a huge thank you to Shadow Typhlosion. I went 4-21 in the Love Cup with that thing. One of my worst days ever, and lost 300 ELO in a single day. This season I have prioritised running as many spicy Shadow Pokemon as I physically can. Some other special shout outs go to Shadow Gerda, which run in Ultra League, and Staravia that we run in the Great League, which actually was shoutcasted by the GOAT Callum on Toast. I've been as high as the 2900s this season, but you can see I'm yet to hit Legend. I personally don't really care about Legend rank whatsoever. I was able to hit Legend 6 consecutive seasons using nothing but Shadow Pokemon. I don't personally think I have anything left to prove in the game. However, a few people have asked me to try and climb. A lot of people might be stuck anywhere from Ace all the way up to high expert rank and wanting to hit Legend, perhaps for the first time or just Legend in general. So I'm going to set myself a challenge. You can see that starting ELO on the screen, and we're going to look to hit Legend in the remaining 2 weeks. Today we take a look at my most consistent team in the Great League, and despite never running it at this ELO range, it's as good as it always was. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, we are off to a very good start, leading Chesnaught into Marowak. Chesnaught is a fantastic anti-meta pick, able to fully wall Marowak and other annoying common things like Dunsparce. The opponent sent out Tentacruel. I responded with Drapion. We land the crunch, correctly shielded up the Scald. I've been to school, I know how to count, and this is only an Acid Spray. Acid Spray not threatening whatsoever. We're going to farm up to 100 energy before unleashing the Aqua Tail. We go for an undercharge, looking to get the Poison Sting farm down. Unfortunately, it's still lethal, but that's fine. We're going to reach double Aqua Tail. One survivable for Marowak, but the second will do around 65%. The opponent's shields, which is pretty questionable, perhaps a reflection of my ELO. The opponent actually double shields, and that is certainly a mistake. Of course, I move from Chesnaught, would do objectively more. I stab Frenzy Plant, it's going to knock out like this Marowak, and every Marowak's ever entered the Great League, whereas an Aqua Tail does about 65%. The opponent sends out the Marshmallow. Am I sorry? No, I'm not. I hate Marowak and I hate Charmers. We're going to Blast Burn it to their face. Unfortunately, we're not going to reach the Blast Burn to knock out Marowak. That's neither here nor there. I've got the Frenzy Plant banked. It's locked. It's loaded. It's going to be high Marowak, bye Marowak. And we're off to a very quick 1-0 start. GG's and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we see the annoying Steel Snake in the lead. Chesnaught pretty advantageous into this matchup as well. Our grass type damage hits for neutral, and superpower will hit for a lot of super effective damage. The opponent can hit back with Psychic Fangs, but it's not all that threatening. The opponent goes for a catch onto Dragonite. I bank my energy and send out Drapion. I'm happy to invest one Protect Shield here. I either want to force both Protect Shields of the opponent or just win the one shield scenario. We farm up to the double crunch, no messing around with any silly Aqua Tail baits. The first crunch, force the Protect Shield. Is the opponent willing to 2-shield in the mid game? Drapion unleashes the next crunch, removing Dragonite from the field of play. Out comes Annihilate. We've got energy on Chesnaught. Shadow Typhlosion not going to appreciate the counter damage. We send back out Chesnaught. Fire off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant, if it goes unshielded, is going to do a lot of damage. The opponent allows me to reach the Superpower, which is double resisted, but they're in the red. Superpower picks up the knockout. We pivot into Typhlosion. This game signed, sealed, and delivered. We could fully incinerate, farm down, and the opponent concedes the match. In the next battle, we see the Battle of Fighters. Of course, close combat is the move to look out for. This isn't enough for a close combat, but I'm willing to take a risk. The opponent actually fires the Ice Punch. So clearly this opponent doesn't have Ice Punch, or at least you'd expect not. This is quite low elo, so you're kind of in the Wild West. We pivot into Drapion after forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent can hit for an Ice Punch, which won't do too much. They actually opt to fire off the Rage Fist, which is a bit of a questionable play, and then send out Dugong. Dugong going to be greeted with the crunch. If we get the defense drop, which we're unable to get, the second crunch would actually knock them out. We're able to fire off the next crunch on the charge attack priority. As we didn't debuff them, they do survive in the red health range. I could of course shield and farm down, but you want to save all the shields for Typhlosion when you can, because Typhlosion with a shield advantage is a monster. I send out Typhlosion, Typhlosion gets that one Incinerate running start, and out comes Corsola. The opponent going to farm up, throw on alignment, giving me a free Incinerate. Typhlosion, going to invest to protect shield, then look to fire off one further Incinerate and the Blast Burn for good fast move timing. You can see the Incinerate damage has already got this bulky pest below half health. The opponent invests that protect shield. Here I think I actually make a mistake. Again, I commit to good timing. However, as I did that, we're already in a range where 2 Karate Chops are going to knock me out. Has Jamie Finn thrown this battle Chesnaught deep in the red? The opponent going to fire off a charge move, vamping up their attack. I invest the final protect shield, blocking up the Rage Fist. We're able to survive the boosted Karate Chop, reach the superpower, and I will be emerging victorious. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, welcome to the pits. Shadow Palkia, very cool pick from the opponent. We're going to stay in. The opponent tries to catch a charge move. I saw the type in. I thought fighting and psychic. Why is it running charm? I realise it's a Gallade, but at that point I've already took far too much damage. My Chesnaught is almost knocked out. I send out Typhlosion. Typhlosion going to go for the one shield, full Incinerate farm down, but this spicy team has really caught me off guard. Back out comes Palkia, and I am going to take the extra Incinerate, recognising I'm likely to lose CMP. I shield at the Aqua Tail. We've got the double Thunder Punch. There's no point in throwing a further Incinerators. I don't want to take 2 Dragon Tails. The opponent shields the first. This one only hits for neutral, but Shadow and Shadow Crime will be removing them from the field of play. What the heck is Wiggy doing in the back? Dugtrio with a silly wig on. That is such a cool pick, but unfortunately this Pokemon has 0 stat product. I send out Drapion, outpace to the Aqua Tail. Marowak might be able to survive an Aqua Tail. Dugtrio, unfortunately not, and I take that game. That team has to be someone off my Discord. If you're watching, send me them battles. That looks like a blaster shoutcast. In the next battle, we see Corsola in the lead. We're going to farm up, make the Nightshade catch onto Drapion, but apparently the opponent was going to Power Gem a fighter. I'm so confused by that play. Perhaps they 5-ed me, or perhaps they don't know typings. I'm really not sure, to be honest. Out comes Primate. We're able to land the Aqua Tail, and the opponent is going to have to close combat to knock me out. They go for the Rage Fist, which is perfectly fine by me. Meaning we're going to reach another Aqua Tail and likely force a shield advantage here in the mid-game scenario. We do exactly that. The opponent does commit to the full Karate Chop farm down. I send out Chesnaught. The opponent has farmed to a close combat, so I will respect it. The opponent fires off the close combat. I'm going to bank all this energy and send Typhlosion out for a 1 Incinerate running start. The opponent sends back out Corsola, and you know the drill. We are full sending. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get that Corsola off my screen. Out comes Talonflame. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and they concede the match. In the next battle this time, we see the opponent running Shadow Typhlosion. We're going to instantly pivot into Drapion. As Switch takes a turn, you can pivot into Drapion, go straight for the Aqua Tail. That will be good timing. That'll be 9 turns versus their 10 turns. The opponent then sends out Golurk. I didn't believe I could throw 7, so I actually set off an Aqua Tail. What I should have done there is throw the Crunch at poor timing, guaranteeing the knockout or the shield. However, we still managed to get him quite low. We're going to send out Chesnaught. The opponent commits to the Dynamic Punch. They're unable to get there. Back out comes Typhlosion. I'm going to pause, or actually wait the turn. It's more precise. I mean, I've already took the Incinerate damage before debuffing my own defense. We then send out Typhlosion with 2 to no shield advantage. I'm just going to shield at whatever they throw. The opponent full sends the Blast Burn, then send out Primate. And this is only going to end one way with Shadow Primate or the regular one, whatever it is. It's regular. It makes no difference. It's straight in and straight out. Back out comes the opposing Typhlosion. I'm just going to shield this move up, tap whatever move, and that is going to be all she wrote with Shadow Typhlosion cleaning up. GG's. One thing I have noticed up playing in the Ace rank ELO is a lot of people get tilted and rage quit the app as opposed to top left in, and it's super annoying. Heading into the next battle, we see Chesnaught into Galarian Stunfisk, aka the Bear Trap. I haven't seen one of these things on my screen since like Season 8. Why is it here? I have no idea. On the off chance you're using either of these Pokemon, and you are the Galarian Stunfisk, definitely go for Earthquake. Both moves are resisted, but Earthquake does get same type attack bonus. I'm going to fire off the Frenzy Plant. The opponent then makes a very nice Frenzy Plant catch on the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. We're going to instantly pivot into Drapion. I'm going to go straight for the Aqua Tail, looking to force the first Protect Shield of the game. Aqua Tail wouldn't quite be lethal from there. I believe it does like 60%, but we'd probably be able to Poison Sting farm down afterwards. I'm more than happy to oblige. Matching Protect Shields, looking to force the opponent all shields down. We go for the correct 2 Poison Stings and the Aqua Tail, only giving the opponent 1 free turn. I think a lot of people that are stuck in Ace rank, one of the main issues is they throw at really poor fast move timing. I'm going to try and comment on fast move timing as much as I can when the opponent throws at poor timing, or even when I throw at poor timing. The opponent pivots out into Swampert. This really is an old school team. I'm not going to mess around, potentially getting Sludge Wave to the face. I go straight for the Frenzy Plant, removing them from the field of play. Back out comes Talonflame. The opponent ends up playing to the CMP side. They do not win. We normally run Thunder Punch. They have opted for Superpower, but regardless of the moveset, Superpower gets the job done. The opponent going to be unable to Mudshot, farm down Chesnaught. They're going to opt to fire for another Rock Slide. Rock Slide does remove us from the field of play. We're 1 Incinerate off the Blast Burn. We don't get any bubbles, but Blast Burn going to cook the pancake to a crisp, and we're going to take that game. With once again, it looks like yet more rage put in. But GG's regardless. So today's kind of a trial video. If people do actually want to see me try and push for legend rank, I'm just going to post straight sets. Like today, just 3 straight sets of exactly what I saw. In the next battle, we see Galarian Moltres in the lead. It's going to take 8 Sucker Punches to reach a Brave Bird, so I throw 7 Vine Whips, looking to Superpower and dip, but it ends up being a CMP tie, so with that information I know this can only be an Ancient Power. Even with debuff defense, Ancient Power not threatening whatsoever. We then make the pivot into Drapion. Of course today we are running somewhat of an ABB team, where Drapion's job on the team is to bait out any potential ground types, look to give our Typhlosion the best opportunity to sweep the back line. We do manage to bait out a ground type. I think I should be more specific. Ideally, I'm looking to bait out any Mud Slappers, as Typhlosion more than holds its own against ground types, not running the oppressive quick move of Mud Slap. We're able to force a Protect Shield off his Clodsire. In the mid-game scenario, Clodsire paces insanely slowly. The opponent go for the Sludge Bomb bait, but I know even with that bait, I'm going to be able to win this one shield scenario. Drapion unleashes the next Aqua Tail, forcing the opponent all shields down. Then go for the wham bam combo play, send out Moltres, but again this is only an Ancient Power. We're going to tank the Ancient Power, send out Typhlosion to get a 1 Incinerate running start. Back out comes Clodsire. They've only got 1 chance to Earthquake, which will be this. We shield up the Sludge Bomb bait. This is only a Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb I'm hoping doesn't knock me out, and it does not. Typhlosion leaves with energy, out comes Gator. We've got the double Thunder Punch. The question is, are we going to survive that Shadow Claw? The answer to the question is yes, and Typhlosion once again going to sweep the back line. GG's, and thanks for playing. If I'm being brutally honest, when Clodsire come in and I got off 2 Incinerates, I was actually anticipating that second Incinerate knocking out and me not tanking the second Sludge Bomb, but it didn't quite work out, but we managed to get the dub. In the next battle, we see Clodsire in the lead. Not all Clodsires carry Sludge Bomb, so Chesnaught does more than fine against the Stone Edge Earthquake variant. However, as we're running that ABB strategy I previously said, we are going to pivot into Drapion. The opponent farmed up to the Earthquake, which I respected. I got baited with a Stone Edge. However, I'm able to just go for this Aqua Tail spam, and these Aqua Tails add up thick and fast. We're able to force our Protect Shield back, and we're going to dare the opponent to full send the Earthquake. At this point, we're just going to say, Drapion, thank you very much for your contribution. Clearly the opponent doesn't have a Mud Slapper, because if they did, they probably would have sent it out. The opponent again go for the Stone Edge bait. Drapion able to win the 1 shield scenario, and out comes Azumarill. Very nice to see this thing here, so Typhlosion gets to avoid it. We're going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch doesn't do too much, and we don't get a defense stop either. But Chesnaught from full health can tank a Player Off or Ice Beam, but of course Player Off is the correct move to throw, as it does get same type attack bonus. The opponent fire off the Player Off, then make the pivot into Togetic, and I send out Typhlosion. Ancient Power hits for super effective, but 1 is survivable and the Fairy Winds are resisted. I'm then going to go for the correct 1 Incinerate and the Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch will be forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. Typhlosion again, 1 Incinerate and the next Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch will not only remove him from the field of play, but leave minimal farm for the return of Azumarill. Azumarill gets 1 bubble off. Chesnaught only 1 Vine Whip off the Frenzy Plant, and we are going to be able to take that game. GG's that opponent. So what I have noticed about Ace Rank is it really is the Wild West. People are running such a wide variety of Pokemon. There's not really too many team comps I'm recognising. Speaking of which, what is this silly electric fish doing on my screen? Very, very nice lead for us. The opponent tried to catch a Frenzy Plant onto Jumpluff. I bank my energy and send out Typhlosion. The opponent farm up 2 potential Acrobatics, which I will respect. The opponent full send the Nuke. Fair play. Of course, 1 Incinerate would be good fast move timing, but instead of doing that, I farm up to 100 energy before firing off the Thunder Punch. At this point, I've got a Blast Burn bank, which I will throw instantly. If I don't throw this instantly and look to go for good timing, which would be 1 Incinerate in the move, the opponent could just throw a Surf. So as I did that, we're able to get off the Blast Burn damage, putting them below half health. Out comes Clodsire with a shield advantage, which is somewhat of a problem for me. I'm going to fire off the first Frenzy Plant, look to fire off the second Frenzy Plant on the CMP tie to the potential Sludge Bomb, but the opponent doesn't throw. At this point, we're just going to stay in and check the moveset. If the opponent's got Sludge Bomb, so be it. The opponent actually fire off the Legacy Mega Horn. Mega Horn certainly isn't the moveset you want on Clodsire. Sludge Bomb or Stone Edge are objectively better. We're able to force the opponent all shields down, and then we make the pivot into Drapion. I go straight for the Aquatail. Aquatail won't be lethal, but will get him into the red health range. This is enough for an Earthquake, which I will be respecting. Potentially it's the hardest move left in the game. Opponent fire off the Earthquake, then send out Lantern. I'm going to overfarm, fire off the Crunch on the CMP tie to the next Surf, and Crunch will be removing this Seal Electric Fish from the field of play. When Clodsire does return, Drapion, being super spammy, easily going to be able to outpace, and the win streak will be continuing. GG's to that opponent. And that is going to bring us to the end of set number 2 in today's 3-set Shoutcast, where we're currently 10-0. It feels quite good to actually get some wins, as some of the nonce I've been running, I have been getting destroyed. In the next battle, we see Corsola in the lead. Last time we was unable to catch the Nightshade, but this one, it surely has to be the Nightshade catch, right? Why are people power gemming Chesnaught? I really have no words. Out comes Guzzlord. So things not going fantastically whatsoever. We fire off the Crunch. Crunch goes unshielded. The opponent looking for that full Dragon Tail farm down, enabling Drapion to reach one further Crunch. Crunch gets them into the red health range. Chesnaught does win CMP in this matchup. Of course, I do have access to Sludge Bomb, and ideally I'd rather not have to tank one if I don't need to. So we fire off the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant forces that protection, and I'm thinking, does that mean they've got Sludge Bomb? I thought about calling it last second. Invested protection, I get crunched. How many resisted charge moves can this trainer throw at me? Of course, we're always going to look to save a shield for Typhlosion. The opponent go for the Dragon Claw. We're able to Vine Whip farm down. Back out comes Corsola. We can go for the one Vine Whip and the Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant puts in a range where I can just fully incinerate farm them down if they look to stay in. The opponent does exactly that. Of course, I'm going to oblige, putting up that Protect Shield. The opponent this time does go for the Nightshade. Then they make a pivot into Shadow thick as B. Of course, there's no reason to bait in this matchup. A huge energy lead. We force in the Blast Burn. Blast Burn rocks them into the red health range. This is only a Fire Punch. Fire Punch won't be lethal. When Corsola does return, you might ask, why am I throwing this charge move? Well, it does 1 damage even when shielded. It just makes the farm down easier. We Vine Whip farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see the Balloon in the lead. So previously when I've showcased this team, I was running Thunder Punch. Do you want Thunder Punch or Superpower? Well, I think that's up to you. I personally kind of missed Thunder Punch, if I'm being honest. Out comes Gastrodon. The opponent only goes for a Body Slam. My Drapion's actually a perfect rank 1, so I know I survive, and I'm going to be able to get off the next Crunch, which will either flip switch or force a shield advantage. Either's fine. We're going to take that shield advantage. We're now going to send out Chesnaught, get that full Vine Whip farm. Then if we had Thunder Punch, it'd be nice in this matchup, but Frenzy Plant still going to do a lot of damage, as it is a busted move. Frenzy Plant does about 40%, and we make the pivot into Typhlosion. Out comes Drapion. The opponent doesn't throw at the best time in. We're going to put a Protect Shield here, shielding up the Aquatail, and they're going to fire off 1 Incinerate. You can see that isn't a CMP time. I mean, if the opponent shields this, I'll just throw back to back. The opponent recognises it, let go of Drapion, back out comes the Balloon. We're just going to shield this up, throw 1 further Incinerate. At that point, once again, we will be doubled up, and Typhlosion just too strong in the back. The opponent's smart, they know we're doubled up and won't shield. This opponent gracefully does tank the damage, and we're going to move swiftly on. Chesnaught into Feraligatr. If the opponent farmed to 7, we will put up a Protect Shield. Most opponents bait. This opponent actually looks to go for a catch onto Drapion. I'm going for the Chip and Dip, fire off the Superpower, and then enter the Mirror. Landing that Superpower, of course, just means I'm going to guaranteed pick my alignment. The opponent fire off an Aquatail. You can see I can survive 2. But I'm actually just going to look to knock them out immediately. Feraligatr can't really overfarm by much. They're going to be forced to throw. They actually could have farmed up a little bit more and looked to cap time me, or CMP time me as I like to say, but they actually opt to throw instantly, meaning they are now energy dry. Switch time is slightly misaligned as I did Superpower and Dips. Going to wait out my clock. We send out Chesnaught. The opponent again looks to make a catch, this time onto a Lowland Sandslash. I am so sorry, trainer. This one is going to be RPS for the win, and unfortunately not in your favour. We managed to get that full Incinerate farm down. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, and they concede the match. In the next battle, we see Mandibuzz in the lead. Not fantastic with Chesnaught. Did I mention I'm missing Thunder Punch? Of course, using a 3-turn move like Snarl into my 2-turn Vine Whip. They should look to throw an odd number, but I anticipated the opponent throwing it instantly as my ELO is a bit lower than I'm used to playing around. We catch the charge move onto Drapion, out comes Gastrodon. Nice to bait this thing out. We land the Crunch, unfortunately unable to reach another move, but this just sets up a massive farm down for Chesnaught. As they're a Dark Flyer, Superpower will hit for neutral, but the unfortunate thing is every time you throw it, you debuff your own attack and defense. If it was on Thunder Punch, we could just go straight Thunder Punch. We're going to absorb all this energy and commit to the full Vine Whip farm down. When Mandibuzz does return, we go for 1 Vine Whip and the Superpower. After this, we're going to pivot into Typhlosion, hoping with the Mod Slapper out of the way, Typhlosion will be sweeping the back line. Out comes Carbink. Oh, Oh boy, potentially my first loss of today's video. We fire off the Blast Burn. Blast Burn is resisted, but if the opponent lets me, we are going to reach another one. This next Blast Burn won't be lethal, but does force the opponent's final protection. We then farm up, able to fire off the Frenzy Plant. Can we still win this battle? We've still got 2 shields. We're of course going to have to shield an aerial ace. It's double super effective, but the question will be, is double superpower enough to knock out? Even if the first one does exactly half the remaining HP, the next one will do less, as we're going to debuff our own attack. Moment of truth, is double superpower enough to knock out? We need this one to do like 60% of the remaining HP. It looks like it isn't quite going to be enough. The opponent going to survive deep into the red. Can we Vine Whip farm down before the next one's reached? We cannot. Mandibuzz survives on quite literally invisible HP. But despite in theory being RPS, quite a close game. GG's to that opponent. What an unfortunate way to end the win streak. Heading into the next battle, we see Shadow Annihilate in the lead. This thing is quite terrifying if I'm being honest. I'm going to farm up to 6. Look to catch the Rage Fist onto Drapion. The opponent doesn't throw. This is enough for a close combat, and I am going to respect it. The opponent actually shows her on Ice Punch. I don't often bait. Sorry opponent, Shadow Pokemon love to shield everything. We go for the Aqua Tail bait. The opponent probably knocks me out of an Ice Punch. I'll be honest, I don't know this matchup. I haven't really seen too many people other than myself on Annihilate, but actually able to survive, reach the Crunch. Crunch will be removing them from the field of play, and I'm so glad just to see that thing off my screen. I think the opponent made a mistake going for the Rage Fist there. They probably thought after the counter damage a Rage Fist and farm down was possible, when it simply was not. Out comes Diggersby, able to fire off the Frenzy Plant. Fire Punch is super effective, but as I'm not a Shadow, I know I survived this. Not well, but we do survive. We then see Clodsire enter the field of play, bank the superpower, and make the pivot into Typhlosion. This game already looks signed, sealed, and delivered. We're going to shield up the Sludge Bomb, throw 2 Incinerates and the Blast Burn. With that Incinerate damage, this Blast Burn will be lethal. Blast Burn picks up the one-shot. Back out comes Diggersby. We're able to outpace to the Blast Burn. Blast Burn won't quite be lethal, but certainly puts them into superpower range. The opponent is actually still going to need to full send the Scorching Sands as well. If they Fire Punch here, it won't knock out. The opponent recognised that. Full send the Scorching Sands. We've got the superpower banked. We're not going to hit all the bubbles as there's no need, and we're going to take that game. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's video. As I said previously, I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to continue with this series. If there's people that want to see it, I will continue to look to push for Legend from my starting ELO of 2100. Post your thoughts down below. If people want to see me actually try and climb in the final 2 weeks, I will look to do so. People don't want to see it, we'll just go back to running the usual nonsense and spice you normally see on the channel. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battles featured form is down below. And as always, a huge thanks to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.